Right, good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to VP4TV. We are here for a round one match in the 2025 Virtual Bank Pool World Championships here in VP4. We've, of course, got the 8-ball World Championships running at the moment. And we had a match earlier today between One Pocket Slim and Coldest Pillow on the one-loss side. That was a race to 9 in the 8-ball World Championship, and Coldest Pillow ran away with it, apparently. He was 6-0 up when I had a quick look in, and eventually won out 9 racks to 3, so Coldest Pillow marches on, but we still are none the wiser as to what happened to Coldest Pillow last night, because as soon as the match was finished, he disappeared. Talking about matches, we've got this match between Romario, representing the United Kingdom, and long-term virtual pool player over the years. And we've also got Chicu, representing Chile from South America, who, looking at the list of names in the lobby, Chicu isn't here yet. Now, I think he may well be one of these last-minute people that arrive. Good afternoon to Cobra. No contact from Steve, so again, I don't know whether he's going to be here or not. I'm going to tab out and have a quick look. Right, no sign of him in Discord, so I'll leave Discord open at the moment, and if I don't get any further contact, or if I check one more time and he isn't there, I'll shut it down, because it's one less resource running. I think Slim's got 2 matches today. This is, I think Slim's said he's off Sundays and Mondays from his work. So he's got 2 matches today, that match that I mentioned, and he's got a bank pool match later on, who I haven't a clue who he's playing. I was just checking earlier to see where Chicu was from. I remember he was South American, I just couldn't remember the country. And there's the match. It's actually One Pocket Slim against Acero, which is at 10 o'clock tonight. And obviously I won't be here then for that. Slim will be streaming it. And, well, we might not have a match here unless Chicu turns up pretty rapidly. It's just knocking on the door of 5 in the afternoon here. And that would be around about, I'm guessing that Chile would be about, I'm guessing maybe 5 hours behind us, something like that. So I'm guessing it'd be around like noon in Chile, although somebody can check the world time zones and confirm or deny that. It's not quite, although Chile's on the east coast of South America, it's not as far west as the west coast of North America, so it shouldn't be 8 hours behind us. It'll be less than that. Right, I'm going to do, now that it's the top of the hour, I'm going to do one quick tab, right, and I'm just going to shut down Discord, and if I can actually get it to bloody shut down, that is. Quit Discord. Yeah, this might be a short one. Now, of course, Chiku he's not really that familiar with a 9-foot table, a 9-foot pool. Well, here he is. So, in actual fact, he could be quite vulnerable. I'm not quite sure whether he's going to be settled in picking out the banks, although I would imagine that the more options he has at taking shots, the more comfortable he'll become. Romario is a total guess. He's either, hot or cold, Romario. But anyway, the room is up, so we'll get in. So Bank pool is played in two different formats. There is a full rack version. I'll just switch this to the blue cloth. There's a full rack version with 15 balls in the rack, the full triangle. And there's a short rack version which looks like a 9-ball rack. And that's the one that we're playing in this tournament. So no score. And I haven't even had time to make a logo for the tournament. I haven't been able to make that. I didn't think this was going to go ahead, so I never spent any time making a little playlist picture. Well, the crossover bank on the 1 ball gets the first score on the board now. Romario was asking me, is it a called shot game? Well, yes, it is a called shot game, but what I said to him is that the non-obvious ones you can call. And then, of course, it's an honour system where, you call, if you're playing it into one pocket and it comes off a knuckle or something goes into another pocket, you obviously miscall it. And there's a first big mistake from Romario. He's scratched and given Chicu a free go. Now, of course, with the scratch, I would imagine it's the same rules in this game, because I can't remember, but I'm pretty certain you've got to play out the kitchen. It won't be that you can shoot any ball. You have to play down table, or up table in this case, as we look. And, well, Chicu had a go there. Almost pulled it off. This is where you have to be a bit imaginative. I mean, there is a crossover bank on the 9-ball into this bottom corner here on the left-hand side. There's also the bank into the side up top. I don't know that that's the one, because I don't think you get much room as you try to double bank it. So he's called it into the left side as a double bank. Oh, yeah, I thought that. But then again, we had the tournament last year, and I can't remember what the damn rules were then, but I had a pretty shrewd guess that you'd have to play at the kitchen. Well, I might be disrespecting Chicu because he's nailed that bank. That was a bit cheeky, that one. So you'll notice that Romario is on -1 from that scratch. I didn't remember that either. I didn't remember that he actually lost points in this game, but I do now. I think that was a bit of a double kiss there on that 3-ball. Well, again, there is a crossover bank on that 4-ball, but you've got to nick it and get right out the way very quickly to try and cross that over into the left-hand corner. Another double kiss. Well, that's if that 3-ball wasn't there, this would be a dead cert bank up and down table into the bottom right-hand corner. I mean, it might still be okay. Oh no, he's not picked that line at all there, Romario. That was pretty poor. But again, giving him the benefit of the doubt, is a bit hampered there with that 3-ball. So, if anybody hasn't read the message in the lobby, Steve has updated the beta version of the online, where you've now got multiple choices for the fonts. This cue ball's heading for a scratch, maybe not. And there are now 10 different languages have been added to the beta version of online, but there is a caveat to that. The bug, the out of sync bug, is still there for anybody who is. It's certainly more prevalent, I've noticed, for a spectator. I mean, I've only ever seen it when I was spectating, and I just thought it was me that was out of sync. I didn't realise it was an actual bug until Steve actually mentioned it, but that bug is still there, so anybody thinking of downloading the beta version should steer well clear of it for the time being until, especially if you're either playing snooker or watching snooker, not that there's that many people to watch, but it will still look out of sync to you. Well, Chicu had another good go at the crossover there. Now, of course, that 6 ball's now dead. And I would imagine that 6 ball should come back up and go on to the spot. Again, I have not a clue because I can't remember, but I'm assuming that if you pot it, I mean, does anything come up and go in the spot? Because, I mean, if you actually knock that 6 ball in, playing that 7 ball onto it, that's not a bank. So you'd have to miscall it. Well, I'll tell you one thing. A lot of these racks will be over very quickly, especially with it just being a 9 ball rack. I mean, any good players will rattle off the banks fairly consistently. And I don't really think there's a great deal of strategy going to be involved with this pair. Romario's still looking to get rid of that deficit, while Chicu moves on to 3. And the only obvious bank is the 4 ball, but you have to make that bank. It's nowhere near set. You're going to have to pick a line to push it onto that rail, and that's well done. That was a good shot because that was far from a simple bank. I don't know whether the crossover is on again. The problem being getting the cue ball out of the way, and the other problem is there's only half a pocket there, or barely that, with the 3 ball there, so that's no good. And that's... I see the balls do come up in spot. So that... the question is that when it is an illegal shot, what's Chicu got? Has he got just playing? That was another double kiss there. Has he got play in place or go to the kitchen? I'm not even sure about that either. If only Steve was here, we could ask him. Well, you say Romario's struggling, but like I said, he's the type of player that he'll do nothing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then he'll bang in 4 or 5 in a row. But he's going to have to be quick here. I mean, the only good thing is he's now back to 0. And what he can do also, this is where you can get a bit tactical, because he can pot that 6 ball and stick that into the stack and try and keep himself in this rack. I mean, that's the tactical side of things. You want to get that 6 ball back in play, because it's no good sitting over the pocket. So there's nothing to stop. See, now this is what he shouldn't be doing. See, he's going all out there, and again, if he used his head a bit better, there might be a back cut bank on this 7 ball if he can get enough of it. There's certainly a crossover in the 3 ball for Chicu, but if I was Romario there, I would have stuck that 6 ball in another double kiss. I would have stuck that 6 ball in the hole there and got that into the stack. Well, he looks as if he's going bottom left here as we look. That's a pretty good line. I like that. Lovely pace. Gives it every chance to go in. Now, is the bank on with the combo? into the side. No, it's too much an angle. So again, what he should do is just pot the 6 ball. See, now this is how you lose the first rack. When you're trying to get yourself back in it, this is how you lose it. Exactly how you lose it. You know, you should have stuck the 6 ball in. All balls pocketed in a foul shot are spotted. In addition, the fouler spots. Aye, that's where he loses a point. Yeah. Ball, always ball to the table. Scratch or cue ball off table is ball in hand behind the head string. Yeah. But you see, my tactical brain tells me that Romario's not necessarily going about this the right way. He had that chance to get that 6. Now, the thing is, the 6 ball's no good in that pocket for Romario. It's no good at all. And all the time he's doing that, he's giving Chicu opportunities to win the rack, just like that. So Romario needs to screw his head on and think a bit more about what he's actually about, because that 6 ball sat there for the whole rack. And at that particular point, when he was just getting, he'd got himself back to 0 and got himself into a plus situation, he could have tied up those 3 balls in the stack by potting that 6 ball and given himself a chance of actually staying in it. And in the end, he succumbed to his own 9 ball mentality where he wants to try and pot and bank everything that he can see, when you've got to try and play for time. And the inevitable happened. He lost the first rack because of it. Oh, good solid bank there, and another fairly straightforward one lined up here. See, that's nailed again. Now the crossover bank is there. The 9 ball may well bank if he can get a line on it. Yeah. There's a good crossover in the 5 ball now. And how quick was that? He did it. I told you he did it so bloody quick. He's won the second rack in the blink of an eye. That is typical Romario. Absolutely typical example of Romario. Bang, 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 bang. There you go, 1 each. I mean, there was barely like sort of 30 seconds between the start of that rack to the last ball going in. It's just like that. And, he'll go hot, he'll go cold, 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 bang, 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 bang. And the next thing you know, you've lost the rack. That's probably, I'm going to stick my neck out there. I think I'm going to have to go back and review this second rack and actually time it, because I'm going to hedge my bets and say that's the fastest rack of, not that we've played that many, I have to say, but it's going to be the fastest rack ever in bank pool in VP4. There's nobody beating that. So 1-1. Race to 6. And don't forget any latecomers. Not that there's that many watching, but there is a match later on tonight. I'll be in Cloud Cuckoo Land, and One Pocket Slim will be streaming his match. And again, I've immediately totally forgotten who he's playing, because my memory's getting so bad. But he does have a match later on. Who the hell is it he's playing? Acero again. Cut back. Oh, I haven't got the line this time. That 9 ball's too tight to the rail to bank up and down. It would catch the jaw. Let me have a look. What else is there? Well, there is a bank back the way on this 1 ball into this corner where we are. No, I got it too tight too soon. It's a crossover on again. See, the problem with this is always the cue ball, trying to get it out of the way. Well, he was so focused on getting the cue ball out of the way, he actually forgot about the 9 ball. He had to hit it. Oh, not a lot going on here. Again, there is a crossover on the 4 ball into the left side. That's most certainly on. I'm not convinced that there's much on here with this 6 ball unless he's going to cross that over. No, that I don't think that was ever on. If it was, my eyes are really bad. There wasn't much room to actually get a line on that into the corner pocket. Well, that was a crack. I mean, did you watch it? I mean, I had Baxter dead and buried. I said that. I said this match is over. But the thing is, I'll tell you, Acero's mistake was actually trying. It sounds stupid to say this. It does sound stupid, but he was trying to win the match with every chance he had, and he made the big mistake. Now, this is where the problem is for Acero. He made the big wrong shot choice, in my opinion, when he had to keep that. Was it the 8 ball? He had to keep it tied up to actually give him a lifeline to hang in the rack. And he made the mistake of actually trying to split it. It gave Baxter a chance. And then, I said in the stream, I said, if you start taking liberties, you'll suddenly find that your good position can be ruined from the fact that the balls won't do you any favours at all. And I also think he sort of bottled it a wee bit, Acero. At least it looked like that to me. Did you time it, 73 seconds for the second rack? I'll tell you, that is definitely a record. By the time I had finished prattling on, the bloody rack was over. Well, there's a missed call. Oh, mind you, the game's done it itself because it said there in the top right, illegal shot, ball not banked cleanly. I never even knew that VP4 would recognise that. That's actually pretty good. I think did we ever test much of banks in the testing period? I can't remember. Well, that was never clean because he hit the 8 ball with a mistake there. Right, so Romario's got a good chance now. I say a good chance, but again, he's got to maybe draw off this and try and get out the way of that 6 ball. Yeah, it was tight, and it was a good effort. Trying to use the rail and the jaws there to help that 6 ball in. But Chicu's not having any of it. He's on the hill in this rack and sitting pretty good in the 8 ball. Bang, there we go, 2-1. Aye, consolation racks, that's what it was. I mean, you look at the start of that match with Bankster. I mean, he was absolutely bloody hopeless in that first rack. He had 4 opportunities to win the rack and couldn't get the job done. And in fact, the final 4th opportunity, he hung up the bloody 8 ball, left it over the pocket, just to make sure he was definitely going to lose the rack. After that miserable start and the fact that he was chasing Acero's tail for the whole of the match, but that's it. If you don't give up, things can always change one way or another. And fair play to him, he had enough bottle at the end of it to get the job done and take those chances that he got. Take your hat off to him for that. So here we go. We're in rack number 4 here in this race to 6. First to 5 points in each rack wins the rack. I don't know what Romario's talking about. Oh, he says ball not banked cleanly. Maybe that might be a bit of a debatable thing about Bankpool, where I think did it catch a knuckle there or something? See, the thing is, if it just caught a flick of the knuckle, but it still goes into the pocket that he was aiming it for, it's come up there and called that not a clean bank. We need to watch out more for that. I don't know whether that might be slightly buggy. Oh, well, that's true. I mean, he definitely had nothing to lose. I think it was a bug. I was too busy talking and not really paying attention to what was actually happening there to catch it, but it might actually be a bit buggy where it's sort of calling something like that a bit of a dubious, not a proper bank type dialogue that came up there. But anyway, it's Chicu that's on -1 at the moment. So he's got to clear that deficit. See, that won't be a clean bank if that went in off the 7. I don't think there's an awful lot on. There is a crossover bank again for the 4 ball. To me, that's like glaringly obvious, that one. So if that was a 9 ball, it'll come up and spot. Crossover the 4 ball into the side. Well done. That gets him back to 0. Don't think there's an awful lot doing there. Cue ball's gone south. 8 ball's going to drop in. It goes into the stack. Well, that's something you might have found a few years ago, Tam, because I've never been near Bankpool at all. I don't ever recall ever playing it. Coldest pillow, what happened last night? What's this tendency you've got for arranging matches and then pissing off not showing up? That's twice you've done it. What the hell's going on? You need to come clean on it. And you still haven't told me who you really are on Steam. I'll find that out eventually. But if only I could have remembered what people's nicknames were in Steam, I would have already known. But the name that you told me certainly not right. I'll find out eventually, don't worry. Right, so that stack's all broken up, I've just noticed. But we've still got a dead 1 ball. And Romario with a bank on the 4 takes him to 3, and a good bank on the 5 as well available. I don't know whether that 9 ball banks past the 8 ball into the top left, but the 5 ball looks favourite. I couldn't make it home in time. I was playing paddle. I haven't a bloody clue what he's talking about. Is that some sort of bloody fancy Welsh game? I mean, was it? I mean, I know there was a lot of rain down in Wales, so you were actually paddling, right? Got that. Now, was that a legal bank? It must have been. He's now on 0. And pushed it too far. The 9 ball. 5 balls dead in the rail. It's not banking anywhere. 7 balls dead in the pocket. 1 ball's dead in the pocket. I mean, just as a safety, you can leave that cue ball in the corner pocket there where the 7 ball is and put the 7 ball in the stack. Play a sort of safety. These guys are not really. Here we go. Suddenly, Romario's listened to the stream, using a bit of bloody common sense. Of course, the trick is one trick in this game is trying to get your opponent to make the move and break those balls up and possibly leave you a bank. Romario's got himself in a good position right now with a 3-point lead. And but what he's done is he's left an invitational bank here for Chicu into this bottom right. No, he's going the other way. So that'll be a missed call. Or it'll be an illegal bank according to the game. Well, it isn't calling it as an illegal bank, so he's going to have to miscall that. He's not doing anything here. Is he making out that he's called that? Now, see, that's one. Yeah. That's one where he's banked it into 2 different pockets, and it's went into the other one. You've got to call them if you're going to double bank it. So now that ball goes into the stack. And see, Romario's suckered himself again there. He's gone and broke them up, trying to be aggressive, and he's given a free go here to Chicu. Again, he could have played safe and potted the 1 ball and got it into the stack. What you're doing is just opening things up to allow Chicu to come back into this rack. This is where you do have to, use your strategy on it. I mean, I'm not talking about being negative. I'm talking about not being overly aggressive and just selling out. No, I wouldn't worry about Larry. He's a pile of crap. Did you see him in the last game? He totally fell apart like a cheap suit. It was absolute garbage. I mean, and that's me being complimentary about him as well. It was absolutely dreadful. So it was shockingly bad. Bloody, track ball mouse fouls that he was making. Not even getting to the ball. Load of crap. He'll never listen. Well, that 9 ball is sitting right in the middle of the diamond there, crying out to be banked every day of the week here. I mean, I'm nailing that one. Any half-wit can bank this. But that's another double kiss, I think. Let's have a look at what we've got this end of the table. Well, we've got a 7 ball that will bank. We've got a 5 ball that will go into the side. So there's a chance here for Romario to possibly kill this rack off, although he might have to go for the 5 ball first. Well, he's almost got the 7. See, if he'd went for the 5 ball first, he might have kept the cue ball down here to try and finish the rack. So again, he wasn't thinking. If he'd taken on the 5 ball first, he could have had his second shot in the 7 ball to win the rack. Oh, and good. Look who's arrived in the room and left the room. Crossover in the 9 ball. Well done. Right, again, 5 ball this time for the rack to go 2 apiece. Oh, it's just gone wide. Well, there's definitely not a bank on there. Well, you see, that is a mistake. And that's the reason it's a mistake, because again, Chicu's just giving Romario a free go here to win the rack. See, Chicu's not thinking. You know, he could have played a safety by, you know, just rolling to the 8-ball or something. You've got to try and protect the score while you're trailing like that. Well, we might actually see a bit better thought in the strategy side from maybe better players in this tournament, because there will have to be a bit better strategy, especially if you find yourself, you know, sort of on the brink where your opponent's like needing one to win the rack. You got to screw your head on, try and stay alive in the rack, and bang, there you go. It's 2 apiece. Oh, these games won't. You weren't here to see Romario when he went 1-0 down at the beginning of this match, were you, Coldest Pillow? You weren't. He went 1-0 down after the first rack, and then after me telling people Romario is either going to be good or bad, you get no in between with Romario. He's either shit or he's just red hot. And in the second rack, bang, 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 there you go. And Tam says it was like 73 seconds and it was 1 apiece. It just blasted 5 banks in the trot, and that was it. You need to go and watch that. No, these I think with a short rack, I don't know whether we did it before with a short rack. I can't remember. Probably it was, but with a short rack, it's just like a 9-ball rack. They're not going to take overly long, especially if you get decent bankers in playing it. Stubb fancies his chances. He's got as good a chance as anybody, Stubb, I'll tell you where Stubb will go wrong, right? And I can read him about, because he's going to do exactly the same stuff that these players are doing here at the wrong time. You know, you've got to... Stubb's just going to try and bank until he's blue in the face to win racks. Now, the odd occasion that might work, but most of the time he's going to just sell out doing it. And that's where Stubb will go wrong. Yes, he can bank a ball, but has he got any head for strategy? Absolutely none whatsoever. And he'll fall foul of that eventually. There, I've told you that's how he's going to lose. That's exactly how he's going to lose. Well, I don't know that he's actually left Chicu very much to go on here at all with that shot. I mean, the 1-ball banks, there's no doubt about that. And the 4-ball banks into the corner. I don't think there's much else going on up the table. And that's a good one. Chicu off the mark. Is that 2-ball going anywhere? Well, there was room, and it's gone in. Excellent. Well, there's definitely a crossover bank on that 7-ball. Most certainly there's a crossover in it. He's tried to nail the one, but that 7-ball was definitely available into the corner. And look where he's stuck the cue ball. He's left very little here, if nothing at all, for Romario. There is a possible on that 8-ball. Is he trying to 5-ball in the side? Cue ball's gone. No. One ball into the side if it can get past the 5-ball. Might be better actually with the 8-ball, but you're going to start breaking up balls either way, I think, here. Has he got the legs? Oh, that's beautiful. That is perfect. See if that replay works. No, I've switched it off. Hang on, that's my bad. Wait a minute to switch it back on. Right. So, Chicu at the moment is favourite in rack number 5 here to go back into the lead. That 7 ball comes back up onto the spot. And now Romario's got his chance here. He certainly, if he can nail this first bank here, he could probably breeze through this again. Didn't quite get the line. Chicu only 2 away from securing his next rack. I think that 9 ball's too tight. He blasted the 7. 1 away now. Cut back bank on the 8 ball. Not quite. That'll be a missed call. If it doesn't, well, it hasn't gone in anyway, so that's fine. So Romario on the brink in this rack. And again, going all out for a sellout. Romario says 6 is a lot of games, isn't it? Well, it's not a lot of games if you're banking on a regular basis. And that's going to win the rack for Chicu. Now with a 3-2 lead. And we've been playing for just short of 40 minutes. Not an awful lot on here either. I mean, you could play a silly up and down bank on the 6 ball if you just spin the cue ball out of the way. Gone for the crossover on the 1. Very well played. Yeah, he was never going to get the cue ball out of the way of that one. Well, this is an invitation to the party again for Romario. He's got a bank up and down in the 6 ball, but that cluster's beginning to build up there at the end of the table. Chose the 2 instead. Well, 7 ball is crying out to be banked. Back cut bank, perfect. Oh, welcome to Spud Boy. That'll be another ball to the stack. So we've got 3 balls lined up in the middle of the table. There's a 6 ball that can be banked. There's a 2 ball that can be banked. And Chicu with a 2-0 lead in rack number 6. And now goes to 3-0. Well, the 5 ball will bank up and down as long as, again, you can get the cue ball out of the way into this corner. Is that got enough room? Well, the thing is that there are 3 balls in the table where Chicu can use them to win the rack. Romario obviously needs the 3 balls that are in the stack, but now's not the time to do anything with those 3 balls. He might not get that chance the way Chicu's going. The other problem with Romario is his patience. He doesn't have that much patience. He wants to get things done, and that's a nice one in the 3 ball. And this is exactly where well, if he'd finished a wee bit shorter there, I think he can still get away with that 9 ball. He's going to go for the 8 instead, but I mean, he could just have a straight run out here. That's not going to hold the line. Now he has to hope it ends ugly. There's a crossover on the 9 ball, but he can't get to it. There's a bank into the corner here for the 2 ball, and that's about it. Unless he's going to try and cut it back, but I don't know whether can he do it into the side. I think he's going for the corner. Romario breathes again. So 2 ball, bottom right corner as we look. And that now goes into the stack. And again, a cut across the 8 ball for the up and down bank. Doesn't look like he's doing that, though. I'm surprised he did that, though. Because, again, he's given Romario a glimmer of hope here. And that's freed up the balls. Now, that 8 ball, is that going tight? Not quite. And for once, it's Chicu. I think that's the first shot you describe as a safety shot from Chicu. With a 4-1 lead, he just needs 1 ball, so he's just waiting on that 1 mistake by Romario. And he'll open up a gap in this match. Has he called that? That's a superb shot if he's called that. That's excellent. That's a brilliant shot, that. Well, this is going to double kiss, isn't it? Got to try and avoid it. Now, what the hell's he doing here? Is he trying to go 3 rails? Yeah, I don't think that was ever on. So now those 2 balls back into a stack, and Romario still stays alive in the rack. And if that cue ball comes up into the table, this could be his chance to pinch the rack, to get it back all square. Big shot coming up here. Well, this isn't ideal. And of course, the ball that he's playing is either going to be left for a bank or the cue ball's going to stay there for a bank in the 8 ball for Chicu. Now, I think he can play that and get the cue ball out of the way, cutting that back into the side, that 8 ball. And this might be the sellout that Romario wasn't wanting to do. And there you go. That's the thing about, you know, going for the bank. You've got to think about the cue ball, because he was always going to leave some sort of shot if the cue ball stayed in the middle of the table there for that 8 ball. And it's now a 2-rack gap here for Chicu. We're into rack number 7. 4-2 lead. And Romario with what to do. Is that going to hold the line? It certainly is. He's got an up and down bank on the 2 ball if he fancies that. I don't think he's got much other options available though. Again, didn't really give that much thought, did he? And now you've got an 8 ball that's dead, going nowhere. And these balls are not sitting too good for any banks, I wouldn't think. Not good at all. Holding the line as well. Oh, I did everything but go in, so it's dead now also. Now, are you being funny, Spud Boy? Because Cobra's just been the last person to type something in the chat there. He was definitely here a little while ago. He might have fallen asleep. And meanwhile, Romario off to a good start, 2-0 lead. He's going to have to bank this up in the top left as we look. And that looks a great line. That's excellent. Lovely shot in that 7 ball. And Cobra sent you a proposal as well. Pay attention, Spud Boy, for goodness sake. Well, the safety is not necessarily to pot one of those balls, because again, if you leave the cue ball somewhere central, you could leave a possible bank. I think Chico's just having a blast. He's now gone to -1. An easy bank up and down for Romario with ball in hand in the kitchen. This 5 ball's going in every day of the week, but he's made a terrible effort at it. You know, a lot of these players were watching these 2 players, and they're banking them firm. But you don't need to necessarily bank that 5 ball at that pace. Now, when Cobra says Wednesday morning any good, the problem with that is that's going to be the middle of the night for Spud Boy. And this is actually probably sort of dinner time for Cobra. Unless he's already had it. And Romario on the brink of nicking one back here. Chicu's still in -1. The table's quite ugly, which suits Romario, because all he's waiting on is one shot. And what Romario doesn't want to do is start moving balls like this 2 and 3 ball. He wants to keep the cue ball well away from them. Unless he's going to do that and win the rack. Back to within 1. Couple of balls have gone in the break. They'll come up. I think they come up after Chicu's made his shot, don't they? Or, aye. Once this 1 ball comes to rest, those balls will spot. Well, there's not many normal human beings with 12-hour shifts, Spud Boy. A lovely little bank to start off there for Chicu. Just squeezed it past the 4 ball. Well, you try to tell me you do an 8-hour shift and it's 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back? Sod that for a game of soldiers. I wouldn't be doing that. Holding the line, not quite. I'm not quite sure whether that 8 ball. Well, I don't know what the hell Chicu's doing. I think Chicu's totally lost interest in this match, even though he's winning. He's maybe looking at the first opportunity he can get to get out of here. Well, there you go, Spud Boy. Cobra's going to come on and get it done. Now, I don't know whether there's enough room in the 3 ball there to cut that without hitting the pocket. Well, that would bank that 3 ball if you were sitting there with the cue ball. It certainly would bank. And we've now got another ball into the stack. And again, Chicu's not interested. He wants to have an open play. And he's actually probably got away with that, believe it or not. I think the 8 ball's one option, but not a lot more going. Well, instead of them all gathered in a line in a stack down the middle of the table, they're now gathered in a corner. 2 ball into the side. Absolutely bulleted in. And Chicu with a 2-0 lead. 7 ball up and down into this bottom left. Oh, that looks beautiful. That is lovely. Oh, again, everything but going in. I'll get a quick drink. Well, if we can see enough of the 6 ball, it certainly banks. And Romario's got himself on the board. Crossover bank in the 8 ball is available. That'll certainly bank. He's trying to cut back this 5 ball into the corner, but I think the 8 ball was more favourable, to be honest with you. But what do I know? The 8 ball looked a sort of more natural crossover bank, just pushing it to the rail and let it run out over that corner pocket. And as it is, he set the cue ball up for Chicu to bank it into the side, and it's 3-1. Now, is there enough room? I don't know whether there's enough room past that. Where the hell is he going? Is he going three rails to get this into the top left? 1, 2, 3. Not far away. Well, the 5 ball, again, this is an open invitation to the party. This 5 ball banks. It banks every day of the week, up and down. And again, you don't need to slam it. You just need to get it on that line, and the pace will give it every chance to go in. Just like that. Problem is getting anything to follow up. That's the problem. Trying the 2-railer around the corner up to the top left. Crossover for the 4 ball, and the up and down bank the 3s look spot on. Even if he has to tweak the cue ball a wee bit. No, he's decided on the 1 instead. Well, I think you can squeeze a bank out on that 1 ball if you can get the cue ball drawn out the way. Not the 1 ball, the 3 ball I meant. Well, just a tad too soon to the rail. But that 8 ball looks dead, I'm afraid. It looks absolutely stone dead. Top right-hand corner pocket. Again, blasting it to get it. There was the 8 ball or the 4 ball. It was the 8 ball. No, it's the 4 ball. Well, that wasn't the best of efforts there from Romario. The 4 ball isn't in a set line for a bank. Neither is the 3 ball, because both of them you're going to have to find a line off the rail rather than a sort of what would look like a natural bank. This is a cutback bank on the 1 ball. Is that holding a line? Again, not quite. And once again, though, Romario's not been left a great deal of opportunities here. 2 balls are dead in pockets. Trying to get up and down with the 4 ball. And all he has to hope is that he doesn't leave a sellout bank. And, well, I don't think he has. And this rack could have a big bearing in the outcome of this match, because it's anybody's, this rack right now. The problem for Romario is that there's only 2 balls in play, and he needs 3 balls to win the rack. And Chicu can deal with these two that are here. Well, that's going to... I thought it was going to nudge that 7 ball in, but not quite. Cue ball stays out of the way. 3 ball into the side. It takes Chicu onto the hill in this rack. Now he can go 2 rails or again around the corner, looking for that top right-hand corner pocket. Well, he'd like another go at that. I'm sure he would get closer if he had another go at it, because he was nowhere near it. So 1 mistake from Romario will lose this rack. And that's... Well, there are times where you just simply have to take a risk. And, well, I'll tell you what's surprising about that shot. The way the balls were sitting and the fact that Romario needs... he needs these 3 balls to win the rack. I'm very surprised that Chicu didn't bank that 1 ball into one of the side pockets. He refused it. And that looks excellent. Beautiful line, beautiful pace, and Chicu is now on the hill with a 5-2 lead. Overall match score. Well, let's have a quick look and bring up the bracket. Where are we? I don't want that bloody highlight thing on the screen. That's annoying. Right, that's better. Right, so we've got Cobra and Spudboy underway. We've got this match, which might be coming to a conclusion fairly shortly. You've got Coldest Pillow. Well, Steve's actually changed the result and put Coldest Pillow through to round 2. And then the other match is that match with Acero and Slim at 10 p.m. GMT later tonight. Meanwhile, Chiku's got a point on the board. This match has just gone an hour and 5 minutes old. Romario's lost the cue ball and given a free go here, albeit from the kitchen, for Chicu. Is this 7 going to be crossed over into the top left past the 2, or is he going up and down? He's going up and down. Well, here's a chance for Romario. He's got a couple of options available to him. I mean, the 1 ball looks pretty good into this bottom left-hand corner. That looks a stone wall bank, that 1 ball. Although he seems more keen in the 3 ball. That'll be a missed call. 1 ball looked a lot more comfortable to me. So Romario on -1. And Chicu with a free go, loses a cue ball, nails the bank on the 7 ball, cue ball scratches. So now we've got a 7 ball in the stack alongside the 6 ball and the 3 ball. And ball in hand for Romario gives him a free go at this 5 ball on the side. Again, not really finding the line. And Chicu just takes the idea that he's not prepared to hang around faffing about. He just wants to break things open, which I suppose, you know, when you're 5-3 up, it might be worth the risk. Am I watching the match on my phone? I know, I'm watching my live stream on my phone, so I can read the chat. I mean, as soon as this finishes here, I'm dropping into the Cobra Spud Boy room. Romario gets his first point. 4 ball will bank also. No, not quite. He needs. I mean, he's at the stage now where he needs these to drop. He needs them to be going in on a more regular basis. Oh, was it a question for Cobra? This time Romario gets the cutback bank on the 2. He's got an 8 ball that he can play into the side. Again, not really getting close. That was well done. So Chicu now back on par, 2 apiece. Well, there is the crossover in the 7 ball to that top right-hand corner pocket. And if that 1 ball stays in a line, it's a cutback bank possibility for Chicu. And again, nailed. So we might not be far away from the end of this match, folks. Nice little cutback bank where he hasn't hit it. Has he? Is it getting there? Not quite, but it's dead. Not a lot here for Romario. In fact, nothing at all, unless he goes for the 7 ball into the top left as we look. That's what he's tried. And that going in goes on to the spot. Chicu just decides to get the other ball into the stack now. And again, Romario with not a great deal available. But again. Well, he hasn't quite set a bank up there on the 4 ball, but he set a bank up in the 7. You get the impression that these guys are in a bit of a hurry. Well, Romario is always in a hurry, but this is a gimme bank on the 4. But again, too much pace and going to the rail too soon. And he really should have nailed that one. Well, this is like a 1, 2, 3 railer round the corner into that top right between the 7 and the 8. 2, 3, it's going to the 8. Oh, that's beautiful. I thought that was going straight into... Oh, what a lovely shot that was. Look at that. I thought that was running into the 8. But what do I know? That was perfect. A perfect 3 railer. And just one more. Well, he's actually knocked a ball in there. Does he lose a point for that? No, he doesn't. It only gets called not a bank. So he's on the hill in every sense of the word. But Romario trying to hang in there, but one more mistake, Romario, and you will be gone. Got to think about the cue ball. No, I think in this instance, I mean, the thing is that 7 ball was in the kitchen. There was nothing to stop Romario actually just potting the cue ball there and giving ball in hand to Chicu, because there was not a lot that Chicu could do with the 8 ball by way of a bank. I think I might have actually just potted the cue ball there. Game, set, and match. There it is, folks. It's a 6-3 win for Chicu in the round 1 match between himself and Romario. And that took an hour and 14 minutes to get that done. So well done to Chicu. A lot more familiar with the table than I thought he would be. And they could well be a threat, no doubt about that. So he marches on into round 2. We'll have a quick refresh. And we will see that he now lies in wait between the winner of Interchange X and Stub, Real Poland Power. Meanwhile, we can see Cobra's already won the first rack against Spud Boy. We'll see if we can get in. Yeah, the one thing about this match is it's going to be played at a lot more of a leisurely pace, I would think, than the way those guys were going at it. And Spud Boy has, again, looking at the table, not a lot going for him here. Not an awful lot. The possible bank the 2 into the right side, which he has spotted and nailed. Oh dear, it's a bit early, but I've started yawning. It's only 6:15. Cue ball. Well, 2 balls in the kitchen, but a free goal for a bank on either the 9 ball or the 2 ball with ball in hand. And Cobra sticks away the 9. Crossover. Where's he going? Trying to squeeze that into the corner. He's got it. 2 in a row. One into the side or a cut back into the corner. Once again, Spud Boy comes to the table and he doesn't have anything that's really inviting him to the party. Now, was that played? Was that 2 rails into the side pocket? Or is it just my imagination? Yeah. Yeah, I think Cobra's quite right in what he said there because, you know, you've really got to call, if you're going 2 rails around a corner, you've really got to call it. But anyway, it probably won't matter because Cobra again has got a very doable 5-ball up and down, and that's a perfect bank pace. I mean, that 5-ball's going nowhere else but in the pocket. And the 1-ball will conclude the rack for a 2-0 lead. Cue ball has gone. So straight away, Cobra's got a ball in hand from the kitchen. Fairly comfortable bank to start him off with. And the way these balls are sitting, I mean, he can do whatever he chooses as his best option, but these balls are actually sitting very well. Certainly the ones that are in the table are. So he's going 6-ball up and down. I don't know that, let's have a look. I don't know that the cue ball's finished in the best position. No, he's not really got a lot on from where he's sitting. Not much at all when you look at it. It looked a lot more inviting before he actually played the shot. But that's the difference between Cobra and Romario and the way Chicu and that were playing, because Cobra's going to make sure he's not going to do anything that's going to give you an easy start. So a much more leisurely pace in this match. A good one from Spud Boy though. And he might have a follow-up here. Let me have a look. He'd need to get the cue ball out of the way for a start with that 4-ball. It will go, but he has to get the cue ball out of the way. That's a missed call. Or an illegal shot, I should say, because the game's calling that not a bank shot, which is perfectly correct this time. And Cobra spots the 3 up and down. Rock solid. And that's a beautiful pace again on that 4-ball. Perfect pocket pace for that bank. And he can do the same again on this 7-ball. And hitting it firmer. You see how that 7-ball just straightened up? You know, if you hit that one too soft, it just goes straight into the rail. And hitting it at that pace, that 7-ball straightens up and holds the line better into that corner pocket. This is looking very close. Not quite. And that would have won him the rack. The Spud Boy's got the up and down on the 5-ball. It's a bit of a tight space. He's got a crossover, which is a bit of a tight space as well. He has to get the cue ball out of the way. Now, what's he left for Cobra? At first glance, not really a lot. Tried the cutback bank on the 1-ball, but there's a free goal for Spud Boy. 1-ball across the side. Now he's having to pick that line. Yeah, see, it wasn't set as a bank. He had to pick the line that he was pushing the 1-ball to the rail, and he actually hit it to the rail too wide, which means it ends up going wide of the side pocket. It opened out. So the 2-ball in this bottom right-hand corner is dead. It serves no purpose there. Cobra on the brink of a 3-0 lead. Just waiting on that one mistake, that one half-decent opportunity, and he'll seal the deal on this rack. But Spud Boy's not having any of it. He's got his first point. Probably struggled to get a follow-up on it, though. Oh, for a minute there, I thought it was actually keeping a good line, but going too narrow. So this should be it for Cobra. This 8-ball's crying out all day to be banked in that top left-hand corner, but not quite. You'd have thought that was a dead set. Well, what you don't want to do, Spud Boy, is open things up a great deal here. I don't think he's done any damage. So the 2-ball goes onto the spot. He's using the 9-ball for cover. And that's pretty good. I mean, he's left a possible bank on the 8-ball, but again, you've got to pick the line to push that to the rail because it's not anywhere near a set bank. That looks excellent. Oh, he spotted that and very nicely indeed. Lovely pace. And Spud Boy says he can't bank. And that's another lovely pace on that 2-ball. And this 9-ball, he might have room. He might have room in a 9-ball, but he's going to have to give this a bit of a mallet again to get the cue ball out of the way, but to get that 9-ball to hold a line. And he's nailed it as well. How's the cue ball? Oh, he's actually landed perfect. Although he's up at the worst possible corner, he's actually perfect for the bank up and down in this 5-ball. Now this could get him his first rack in the board. One more good bank. And I'm sure that's a double kissed. Now he needs to get lucky. The cue ball's going south though. Well, it's a free go. A free go for a 3-0 lead here for Cobra. And just as we thought Spud Boy was going to get off the mat there. And he's still alive yet. Where's this 1-ball finishing? Well, it will cut back into that top right-hand corner. It's sort of all or nothing shot, but I very much fancy that into the corner. I mean, there's a crossover bank on the 5-ball into the side as well. So there's a couple of options here for Spud Boy. But of course, don't forget, having fouled, he's lost that point. He's gone back to 3. So he now needs these 2 remaining balls. Oh, and now he's got a double kiss. And what's more, this cue ball's coming into a line. But again, a possible cutback bank on the 1. Into this bottom left-hand corner. Not quite this time. And again, Cobra's not really leaving anything obviously easy. Top left-hand corner for the 5-ball, I think. Well, every shot that Spud Boy plays is tempered with the knowledge that if he leaves one dead set, he's going 3-0 down. And he may well have just done that because this 1-ball right on the diamond. But Cobra's pushed it. Now, Cobra would expect to get that like 9 times out of 10, that 1-ball. Well, not a lot of choice here. Trying to cut the 1 across. I'm actually surprised he managed to get the cue ball out of the way quick enough there. So Spud Boy, a pretty high percentage 5-ball bank here in this right-hand corner. Well, he's got the cut across the crossover bank on the 1-ball, but again, got to race to get that cue ball out of the way of it. And he has done, and bang, there you go. And Spud Boy gets himself off the mark. Very well done. It was always touch and go to get that cue ball out of the way. When Spud Boy will be pleased that at least he's got a rack off Cobra. And Cobra, though, when you look at the couple of shots that Cobra had there was a couple of banks where any other day Cobra would have nailed them, but he didn't. And Spud Boy's pinched it. Welcome back to Cold as Pillow. Up and down for the 1 ball. Nicely played. Now, what's to follow? Again, first glance, not a lot. He's trying to cut this into the bottom left-hand corner pocket, cutting it to the rail and nipping it across into this bottom left. Going to the rail too soon. Now, if Spudboy can see most of that 5 ball, he might be on here. Well, I think he can certainly squeeze and make that bank on the 5 ball. He's not looking at it enough for my liking. He's going to go 4 cross side, but that 5 ball definitely banks, and he's definitely got enough room to get at it. And Cobra may well be playing something similar as before, crossing this 5 ball over. Well, again, it's done everything but go in. And it was just the pace that kept it out when as soon as it hit the jaw. But 5 ball is now out the game. 7 ball is pretty much out the game as well. Well, we've got the Champion of Champions snooker tournament that's the final is being played today, and between Judd Trump and Mark Selby, and Mark Selby ended the session this afternoon with a 5-4 lead. And that final will be played to a conclusion in about 25 minutes' time, which I'll be very surprised if this match is over by then, but I certainly want to go and watch a bit of the snooker before I go to bed. Well, this 3 balls trying to be banked into the bottom left-hand corner, but the 3 hasn't opened out far enough. Right, 4 ball into the side. That's a ball that's going to spot. And Spudboy has the 3 ball up and down, but he's hampered badly by this 8 ball. Well, this doesn't really offer a great deal of opportunities for Cobra either. He can try and cut back the 3 ball into where the cue ball is right now. Oh, welcome to Hazard. Well, it was a good start this afternoon. First 2 frames, Judd Trump got a century, and then Selby replied with a century. So it should be worth a watch. I mean, if it goes quick enough, I'll see it all, but I'll see whatever's left of it. But you don't think it's really going to drag on. But you know what Mark Selby's like. If he ends up falling behind, he'll start getting into this grinding mode and try and board Judd Trump into submission, and then the frames could drag on. Oh, I've definitely gone downhill rapidly here, by the way. I mean, what is it? Just gone 6:30, really. And I mean, I've started yawning at 6:15, and it's hit me big time. Well, Cobra's spotted and nailed that one on the 3 ball. That takes him to the hill in the rack, 4-0 up. Crossover on whatever that is. It's either the 4 ball or the 8 ball, but I'm lying back in my chair and I can't be bothered getting up to look. Well, it does everything but go in. So is now dead. And of course, having those balls over the corner pockets, absolutely no value whatsoever to Spud Boy. Well, this might be a mistake. And the reason I say that is he's given a free cutback bank on whatever that is, the 8 ball that's up top. And I see that again, that was tactically the wrong choice there, Spud Boy. That was like seeing the trap and walking straight into it. It was like seeing the minefield sign, do not trespass, yet you walk straight over the fence, straight into the minefield. As soon as you do that, he chose the wrong ball to pot. He left a dead set bank, big sellout, and it's 3 racks to 1 to Cobra. So that's where you go tactically wrong, when you make the wrong shot choice there that Spud Boy did. Just a big sellout and then a fairly comfortable bank to win the rack there for Cobra. What is that? What Judd Trump said? Is it not? It's not his tip. Is it not his tip that is? Is it not the ferrule that he's got this titanium ferrule now with his new cue that he's trying to get used to? Because I think a lot of the players that have used this titanium ferrule said it takes a bit of getting used to, and how the cue actually plays. Well, put it this way: if he never wins another tournament now, from here to the end of his career, he doesn't really need to worry a great deal. He's got enough money in the bank that'll see him okay for the rest of his days. And meanwhile, Cobra, well, nails the bank, but forgets about the cue ball and scratches. So now we've got what looks to be 3 balls in the stack. What have we got? No, we've got 4. Well, we've actually got 3. The 8 ball's not quite in the line, but from this angle, they're all dead. They're not going anywhere. Meanwhile, Spud Boy up and down in the 6 ball. Yeah, there is a sort of crossover bank on the 3 ball into that corner. There's a crossover in the 7, but again, the cue ball's a problem. Cue ball may well get in the way. Oh, he just missed it. Two, 3. Good effort. A good effort. It's given Spud Boy some sort of opportunity. Well, Cobra's spot on in this 3-ball. I mean, that was... I mean, he's lined up pretty good in the 7 to follow this up also, or the 1 ball up and down. But this 7 ball looks favourite. Either or will give him rack number 4 in the scoreboard for him. He went for the 1, but I think he'd have been a lot closer if he'd went for the 7. 7 ball looked a lot easier to me. The Spud Boy having to try and battle again to hang in this rack. Up and down with the 2. Keeps him alive. Crossing over the 8. Into the right side. Looks nice pace. As you notice, spending a lot of time out in Saudi Arabia because they're lining these pockets for him. And now, was that a 3-railer there? 1, 2, around the angles into the side. And that gives him his 4th rack. So just another quick reminder, in 3 hours' time, or 3 1/4 hours' time, if you've got nothing better to do. Unfortunately, I do have something much better to do. It's called going to bed. You've got a match with Acero and One Pocket Slim in this bank pool tournament. No doubt Slim will be streaming that on his Twitch channel. Yeah, the cock hat double in snooker anyway. Welcome to Rotor Monkey, long time no see. Once in a blue moon, man. Well, Spud Boy's proof that you can win a rack off anybody in this tournament, in this game. Spud Boy, who said in the chat that he can't bank. Well, we've seen that he can. That looks, again, beautiful pace on the 1 ball. Lovely pace. Now, is there room for up and down in that 4 ball? Probably not, because the 6 ball's in the way. That looks far too tight. Well, now that you mentioned that you haven't been on, did you hear that that Casino Jim has passed away? Or did you even know who Casino Jim was? He's a guy that we used to play cowboy with of a morning, late hours his time, but we used to play cowboy doubles with him. And he passed away a couple of months ago. And since then, we've had virtually no cowboy doubles now. Meanwhile, back to business. This is the second of, well, to the best of my knowledge, unless something else has been added, but this is the second of 3 matches that we've had today on this Bank Pool World Championships. Short racks they are, just 9 balls in the rack. Races to 6 on the winner's side. I think it's races to 4 on the one-loss side. I've never, I haven't seen Cueless. I think some of the guys are talking about Ripper, who I've never really known. And there's also somebody else as well. There's somebody who knows what the issue is, but they're not telling us. I can't remember who it is, but there's a couple of people who've gone AWOL, which if if nobody's got any contact details and finding out anything, you're never really going to know. Well, that's it. All I know is I'm getting older and I ain't got many more to play with. So that's all you have to do. Just go on with it. Money can't buy you life. Or immortality, I should say. Doesn't matter how much money you've got. All I know is that I'll probably be working until I drop dead, because that's the only way I'm going to keep a roof over my head. I've already put down for a 6-day week this week, and also next week, and I think the following week after that, because I've got a visa bill I've got to try and pay. And the reason I have got to try and pay is I know that my car insurance is coming in January, which is going to add to that. And I can't bloody get the thing down. As soon as I pay something off on it, there's more getting added onto it next time round. Which is why I'm just going to have to keep working. Now, if we lost the audio for the game, let me see if we can hear these balls. For some reason, I have lost in-game audio, which is weird. And I'm looking at the audio on my live stream. Hang on a minute. What the hell's happened here? Right, that is weird. Audio is coming through. Oh, it's my bloody mic. You know what it is? My little audio wheel in my mic was rubbing against my shirt, and it's turned the volume down in my headset, and I'm thinking we've lost audio in the game. Oh dear. Yeah, that's. I know. I just realised I checked my little wheel there, and it had turned right down. That's why I couldn't hear the balls, and I'm thinking all the audio looks fine, because I can see the little audio meter going up and down on my XSplit broadcaster, and I thought, what the hell's going on? Let me try the volume. Oh dear, what a numpty. Well, no, I don't think anybody knows what's happened to this Ripper guy, because he hasn't been around for a while. But I say I don't know. I don't know much about him at all, I'm afraid. Meanwhile, with all of that going on, Cobra's now 5-1 up. How did that happen? I must have missed that when I was messing about trying to find out why my sound wasn't working. Well, this is a dead bank, this 8-ball. Yeah, the audio is fine. Panic over. And what was the England score, by the way? Is that still on, that match, although it doesn't matter? Because I was hoping to watch the football until I found out that these bank pool matches were going ahead. What was the result in the football? Oh, it says there, Kane nets late double. So I've just had an alert on my phone there saying that Harry Kane's got a couple of goals. What's the final score? Who is it? Albania they were playing. Somebody must know the bloody score, for goodness sake. So Cobra's 1-0 up in the rack that he needs to go through to round 2. Nice little bank from Spud Boy. Gets him back 1 apiece. Well, that's another one where you have to get the cue ball out of the way. Yeah, see, commentator's eye says unless you get that cue ball out of the way fast, you're going to have a double kiss. Yeah, it would help a lot if I had 1,000 subscribers and I was getting a bit more income from advertising from the live streams and people checking over my videos at some point. I would probably have a wee bit more money to live on. As it is, I'll just have to plead poverty. Spud Boy's got a nice little pace in some of these banks. He's talking a load of garbage saying he can't bank. He can bank just as good as I can, and I can't bank. Spud Boy is still well pissed off about that 8-ball World Championship match that he tried to arrange with Bankster. And he'd been ranting all about it all while Bankster was playing Acero yesterday. And Spud Boy and Bankster could not really agree on a time to play. And to cut a long story short, Spud Boy ended up being forfeited with a coin toss, I think. And after he had his great result the previous round. And of course, then he had to sit and watch Bankster commit the great escape yesterday against Acero. If you didn't get a chance to see that match, you've got to go and watch it. The match with Bankster and Acero. Well, this match might not have that much more in it if Cobra can find his way through these remaining balls he needs to clinch it. He's going to have a start here on this 4-ball if he can see it, which he can't. So he's got a fairly comfortable starter. 1 ball is dead, of course, but then again, he doesn't need the 1 ball. And he's also landed the cue ball absolutely spot on for the cross bank on the 5 ball, right side pocket. Oh, it's opened up too much. Spud Boy lives again. Albeit again with a fairly ugly setup here. Not a great deal going for him. Well, that possibly could have finished a lot more worse for Spud Boy than it has here, because oh, hang on a minute, wrong button. Well, a good effort from Cobra. Didn't quite get there. Now, you'd have to get the cue ball out of the way to play the cut across in the 7. There's the up and down cut back bank on the 5 into this corner. That's not going to stay on line. So this rack is still in the balance at the moment. And Cobra makes the move. Takes him to 3. Crossover bank on the 7. Getting the cue ball out the way is imperative, and he has done. Is he going to keep the cue ball on the table? No, he hasn't. And it heads south. So those balls are now spotted. Cobra not impressed. And Spud Boy with a free go at the up and down on the 2 ball. Well, he needs to miss that 7 ball very tight to hold this line. Yeah, I don't think it was really on. Now Cobra could he could play a sort of safety here and actually pot this 1 ball and bring the cue ball across. I mean, he'd be taking a risk and leaving a possible bank for Spud Boy, but what he'd also be doing is tying up these balls in the stack. Well, absolutely nothing on for Spud Boy here. I don't even think he can go 2 rails around the corner into this bottom left. That doesn't look a comfortable angle. Well, he's called it into the top left-hand corner as we look. So that's like going 1, 2, 3. That's nowhere near it. Nowhere near it at all. Well, Cobra's got a 4 ball that he could cross over, but he's not prepared to take the risk. He's going to fill that stack up with a 1 ball and just bide his time. You know, in this situation, this is where Cobra doesn't really need to do nothing but just be patient, because Spud Boy's the one that has to be proactive if he's going to try and survive. Cobra doesn't need to be desperate. He just needs to sit there and wait on Spud Boy making that wrong move. And Cobra nails another one. That takes him into the lead. And again, just keeping everything tight. He's what a contrast in this match between, you know, what Cobra's doing. You know, Cobra's doing the sensible thing in comparison to Romario against Chicu earlier on. There was absolutely no thought of safety with those two. You know, they were banging at everything. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, we saw the fastest rack of bank pool ever in VP4 by Romario. At least Romario's got a world record that's going to be tough to beat. He lost the first rack against Chicu, came in the second rack, and in 5 shots he had won the rack in 73 seconds, according to Tornado Tam, who checked it, who counted it. I think Tam's actually posted it. I think Tam's made a snip of it or something. So that'll be hard to beat during the tournament. Well, Spud Boy, if ever you're going to bank a 3-ball, this is it. Even I would fancy my chances on that one. But again, he's hit it at that pace where, you know, it'll hold that line at that pace. Whereas if you hit that wee bit softer, it just allows that 3-ball to open out a wee bit more. And Cobra on the hill in every sense of the word. He's on the hill in the rack. And he's 5-1 up in rack score. But he hasn't got the job done yet. Not quite. But that should be a good match later on with One Pocket Slim and Acero. You know, One Pocket Slim likes a good bank now and again. And I would imagine Acero won't be too shabby in that either. So it could be well worth a watch. So that's coming up in just under 3 hours' time. And meanwhile, Spud Boy's not quite dead and buried yet. Now, Cobra, if he can get the cue ball out the way, has a possible crossover bank to finish the match into this bottom left-hand corner pocket. No, he's going to go multiple rails. Well, I thought he was going to send it around the angle, so he tried to flush it up and down. I don't know that the line was there. But there is a crossover once again for Spud Boy. It depends whether he wants to try and keep it safe or whether he just wants to go all out. He's going all out. And again, I love the pace that he's played that at to give it all the chance it needs to try and get in. Not quite, though. But Cobra's trying to go 3 rails. Oh, that is beautiful. Is he going to catch the knuckle? What an effort that. What an effort. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. And I thought he was going to run into the cue ball there. Not quite got the line, but a damn good try. Well, Spud Boy, that may well be it. Cobra, from that position, has got to be a very strong favourite to seal the deal here. Into this side pocket. Well, I don't think he called the double bank, so that's the missed call. And Spud Boy is still hanging on by his fingertips here. He's got a crossover in the 3. And going to the rail too soon. And once again, there is an up and down bank. It's not quite on the line of the middle diamond, but it's not far off it. So he should be, again, strong favourite to stick this one away and finish it here now. Not quite again. And Spud Boy, he must have 9 lives like a cat here, because he's got an up and down in the 3 ball that can tie this rack up here. And it goes. Now he's got to be careful. He's got to be very careful here. Now, this would really annoy Cobra if Spud Boy can pinch this. And Cobra won't want this to drag on. But he'll be desperate not to leave anything that is going to be simple for Spud Boy. Well, sooner or later, this 2 ball's going to spot. And Spud Boy doesn't be the one. He doesn't want to be the one that makes that mistake of potting this ball. And he has done. And this is a crossover every day of the week, this 2 ball into this side pocket. So this for the match. And again, well, he's had 2 or 3 good goes. They've rattled in the jaws, but he's not got it done yet. And Spud Boy has a crossover now. Again, if he can get the cue ball out of the way and he can get this pace right, he has a chance to pinch the rack and survive for another one. Oh, he's got the double kiss this time. More importantly, where's everything going to finish? I don't think that's too bad. I think it could have finished a lot worse than this. Well, he's calling the crossover into the corner, so it's not easy. It's by far not a gimme. But what do I know? He has spotted that, and it wasn't even a crossover. It was dead set. And I'm sure that's a sigh of relief from Cobra. 6-1, he wins the match. Spud Boy will be pleased he got a rack, an actual rack in the board. But Cobra, in the end, comfortably through. So Cobra now through to round 2. Let's just do a quick refresh. And we will see that Bedhead and Larry are his prospective opponents for round 2. So he'll be waiting the outcome of that. And then we have that match that I mentioned with One Pocket Slim and Acero. And that goes in a few hours' time. That will be on Slim's Twitch channel. If you want to join him, keep him company. And it should be a good one to watch, I would think, between those 2. You've got Chicu, of course, who got through earlier against Romario. And he's waiting on the winner of Interchange X and Stub. Some good matches here. You've got that match with Brainfall Out and Bankster. And the winner of that will play Cold as Pillow round 2. So that is it, folks. I'm off to watch a bit of the snooker. Thank you for your company. And hit the like button if you can be bothered. And I will see you again soon, whenever that might be. I don't know, but I will bid you good night. Thanks for watching, folks.